And there's also some very, very great voice actors in this game. I don't wanna spoil anything, but there's some very interesting people that have voice acted for this game. Hi, welcome to the podcast. I'm Joycelyn, your player one, and welcome back. Happy New Year. Today, Indie House, we've got Once Upon a Jester by Bonte Avond. That's the second Bonte Avond game. It is a 2D adventure game, and a short premise of the game is travel the kingdom as Jester with his best friend Sock to improvise theater shows and perform on stages far and wide. Sing your hearts out, crack jokes, and impress audiences to become the stars of the famous royal theatrical spectacle. And there's no content warnings for the game. It costs $14.99 and it's available on Steam for Windows. It took me 2 hours and 35 minutes to play this game, and it's very easy. It's a lot like Everybody Wham Wham, the same type of mechanics, but instead of building snowmen, you're performing like theater shows. It's space to talk and select, WSD or the arrow keys to move around. Very simple controls, like really all of the controls are pretty self-explanatory. Like when you're making posters for your theater shows, the controls are on the screen for you because they're a little bit more specific to what you can do. And in my opinion, it's even more simple than Everybody Wham Wham was. Like, both of these games are very, very simple to play, and they're kind of repetitive, so you understand like the controls by the time you get to the end of the game. I thought the visuals and the graphics were super cute. I love that the different cities that you go to throughout the game have their own like vibes and themes, and all the characters are unique in their character designs. And they also there's also little animations for the characters for some of them, like the king in the game, when he breathes you can see it. And I don't know, there were other ones, like the facial expressions on some of the characters' faces. It was very cool. There's some very good songs in this game. I think with Bon Avon you can always count on having good music. I'm pretty sure they're musicians actually, which is really impressive that they were able to incorporate good music into games like this, because all the songs are different. None of them are the same song over and over again. And then there's also kind of a reprise song from one of the songs that they sing towards the beginning of the game that they sing again at the end, which is very cool. In my opinion, there's nothing as catchy as Everybody Wham Wham, like the theme song for Everybody Wham Wham. There's no way that they could like remake that feeling of listening to Everybody Wham Wham. Everybody Wham Wham is iconic. I thought all of the radio stuff within the game was really, really cool. I like that you go on the radio show. I like that you can listen to the radio show everywhere you're at. I like that there's a radio that follows you around. I think that's really cool. And I like that the radio was kind of incorporated in Everybody Wham Wham also, and it kind of got brought over to this game. Even though I think it's a different radio host, but you get to actually see the radio host in the game and you get to talk to him. It's very cool. And there's also some very, very great voice actors in this game. I don't want to spoil anything, but there's some very interesting people that have voice acted for this game. And it was very fun to play and to hear their voices. It's cool. Very recognizable voices. I like that there's old characters in this game. The ice cream that scores you in Everybody Wham Wham is a character in this game, and you get to meet two of his friends. It's very nice. And all the characters are all written like very, very well, and it just shows the attention to detail that Bonte Avond puts into their games. Because usually, if you have a game like this that's completely separate from a previous game that you've made, you wouldn't be able to include characters that you had already made for another game. But like, they were able to incorporate that into the game to make it make sense, and I think that just shows how much they care. A lot of the characters actually have the same voice actor, and I didn't even really realize until I saw the credits. But like, it's like really well done, the voice acting in this game, because every character sounds different to me. Uh, and I think the theater, like traveling theater performance storyline has a lot more room for variation in like the challenges, because the entire game pretty much is just a challenge like over and over again, and so it can get pretty repetitive. Like, I think with Everybody Wham Wham, the snowman building content was kind of like, it had less room for variation, and this does have more room for it because there's different set shows that you can do, but then there's also different themes of the same show that you can do. So like, it leaves a lot of room for variation in gameplay and in just the competitions in general. And like, every show that I did was completely different from the last one, even if I used the same like template show, I guess. And I I have a lot of favorites for this game. I think that everything about this game is great. All of the music and songs were wonderful. I loved them. And all the voice acting was wonderful. I loved it. There were a lot of callbacks to Everybody Wham Wham, but it was all still very unique to itself. And like, Once Upon a Jester didn't need to rely on Everybody Wham Wham, if that makes any sense. Like, you don't need to play Everybody Wham Wham to understand Once Upon a Jester. It's not a sequel game, but there are callbacks so that if you have played both, then you would like recognize some of the characters or see some of the things that are the same and some of the things that are different. And I thought all the visuals were really cute, all the little subtle animations were very cool, and all of the jokes within the game were super funny. I love this game. Like, pretty much everything about this game I love, which is why I don't have any least favorites. And like, I I just think that Bonte Avond does a really, really good job, especially with the music, because I believe they are musicians, but also just storytelling wise, it's so amazing. Like, because there's characters that you meet and you learn a lot about them throughout playing the game, even though the main focus of the game is on the competition and not really talking to people. Like, technically, you don't have to talk to all of these people, but if you do, then you learn a lot about them and you get stickers for it throughout the game. And I thought that was a really nice touch. So I definitely would recommend this game. Please play it. If you like story games, funny games, competitions, this game is definitely for you. If you liked Everybody Wham Wham, or if Everybody Wham Wham sounded like your cup of tea, then this is definitely also right up your alley. And I think it would be a good game to play with friends, or you can play it alone, either or. Both options are great, and I think that, like, really, this game is just like the perfect game, and that's why I gave it a 10 out of 10. This game got my first 10 tokens, so congratulations, Bonte Avond. I knew that you would one-up yourself after Everybody Wham Wham. So congratulations on a 10 tokens out of 10. And thank you guys for joining me on this episode of Indie House. Be sure to rate the episode and let me know your thoughts. I've got a Discord server called Indie House Official, which will be a great place to give your feedback and talk to me, my collaborators, or other listeners of the show. If you have any indie game suggestions, feel free to comment below or hit me up at indiehouse_pod on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag IndieHouseGaming. And if you would like to support the podcast and get some cool extra content, you can find the Patreon in the card. Catch us next week on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts. Happy New Year, and see y'all on the next level. Bye!